Convenience from cheap sources, especially digital stimulation, actually makes you weak, actually makes you less self-reliant, actually reduces your resilience. You know that it's easy for you to scroll on social media than to read a book. Honestly, it's easy to watch movies than to journal. It's easy to chat on social media than to go out there and approach somebody. It's easy to be indoors playing video games than to go to the gym and level up in real life. It's easy to watch social media content, motivation, self-improvement content than to actually build your life and do self-improvement in real life. That is taking action. You see, these digital sources of stimulation gives you quick rewards without or with just little effort. You're not even doing anything at all. You just sit and get stimulated from scrolling on social media. You get satisfied. You don't need to go out there and talk to somebody, approach somebody. You can easily chat on your phone. Easy, right? You don't need to make meals. You don't need to make wholesome meals from simple raw ingredients by yourself. You can easily swipe on your mobile app and order for food. Interesting. You don't need to have a meaningful relationship when you have dating apps. You can easily go on there and supposedly pick a partner from there. Do you see that these digital sources of stimulation are giving you quick, cheap, and easy rewards without no effort? And then your brain is loving these cheap rewards. So your brain does not want to make any effort anymore. Your brain loves the easy way. Your brain loves you to play video games than to level up in real life. Your brain wants you to watch adult content than to have a meaningful relationship and build love with your partner. So you don't need to level up in life anymore. You don't need to do things that are meaningful. You don't need to make efforts. You don't need to go out there and do things that will help you build in the long run because you have easy and cheap sources of rewards. And then your dopamine is driven towards these cheap and easy sources of rewards. So you don't feel the need to do anything that's meaningful anymore. You don't feel the need to level up in real life. You don't feel the need to build on your craft because you can easily get gratified from instant rewards. You get validation from social media. So why do you need to go out there and speak to your tribe members? Get validation from dating apps and adult content. So why do you have to approach people and build meaningful relationships with people? It's of no use. You have food ordering apps. So why do you have to stress yourself and make wholesome meals by yourself? You have video games. Why do you have to level up in real life when you can easily build your status and experience on video games? So your brain now loves these cheap rewards and it sees these rewards as effortless. And mind you, your brain from the primitive times actually loves cheap and easy rewards. So if you do things that brings you these cheap and easy rewards more, and you have dopamine driven towards these cheap and easy rewards, so meaningful things now feels boring. Taking a walk now feels difficult. Spending an hour without your phone makes you feel restless. Having meaningful conversations with people feels like a difficult task. Reading a book feels like a big deal. Working your craft and having focus for an hour sounds like a very difficult thing to do because your dopamine is not aligned towards these things. And mind you, dopamine in anticipation is supposed to be aligned towards making efforts to build meaningful things and having long-term rewards. This same dopamine is what is responsible for you anticipating cheap, easy rewards. And since you love these cheap, easy rewards and you are doing more of it, you build more neural pathways towards these cheap and easy rewards. So more dopamine is driven towards these activities, like scrolling on social media, eating junk food, playing loud, fast music, playing video games, watching adult content, having chit chat online, getting validation from social media. And this is what the dopamine is more driven towards. So when it's time for you to make wholesome meals, to clean your environment, spend time with loved ones, have meaningful conversations, go out there and approach people, build up your craft, learn a new skill, level up in real life, you don't have dopamine. Nothing is making you anticipate these things because it seems difficult. You don't have enough motivation. Mind you, people actually they mistake dopamine for pleasure, whereas dopamine is more of anticipation. Dopamine is not for pleasure, it's for anticipation and it motivates you into doing things that are meaningful, building a craft, building a business, doing things that brings long-term rewards is what your dopamine is supposed to be aligned to. Dopamine is supposed to motivate you, it's supposed to make you anticipate these things. But since you love cheap rewards, you enjoy more of social media scrolling, you love more video games, you love eating junk foods, you love taking substances, you have spiked your dopamine towards these cheap, easy rewards. And so your brain doesn't love difficult, long-term activities that brings you long-term rewards. Your brain doesn't love them anymore. So when it's time to do these things, you have no dopamine, you have no motivation, you have no anticipation. That is why these difficult, so-called difficult and boring, meaningful things now seems very hard to do. You need to do more of these so-called difficult, boring activities, like taking a walk, spending time with loved ones, building meaningful relationships, doing things that makes you brainstorm, doing things that makes you build your skills. These are the things that you should be more aligned to, so that you have more dopamine for these things, and then you're able to build long-term rewards rather than this quick spike of dopamine, instant gratification, short-term rewards that keeps you down, that keeps you restless, that keeps you tired, that keeps you wasted later. Don't tell me that when you scroll on social media for 2 hours, you are satisfied. You usually want more. You want to scroll for 5 minutes more. You will never ever get fulfillment from instant gratification. But from delayed gratification, things that actually brings you long-term rewards, you have a feeling of fulfillment. You feel satisfied. And when you see progress, you want to do more and more of it. And when you see so-called progress in instant gratification, that short-term reward, short-term satisfaction makes you want to seek more and more of it. And then it leads to addiction, where you can't have meaningful things to do with your life than to keep seeking for pleasure, keep seeking for instant short-term rewards. You are not meant to be seeking constant stimulation and short-term rewards. You are meant to do the work, the difficult task. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you are meant to do it so that you can build your life and have long-term rewards, so that you can have a meaningful, fulfilled life. You wouldn't sit back and say, oh, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled for scrolling for 5,000 hours over the past 5 years. No. But you look back and say, wow, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled for building a decent physique. I'm fulfilled for building this business. I'm fulfilled for learning this skill that is making me money now. I'm fulfilled for living a healthy life. I'm fulfilled for having these meaningful relationships. I'm fulfilled for building a family. I'm fulfilled for having my loved ones around me. These things are what you build gradually, and you have the fulfillment in the long term, and it will last you longer than these short-term rewards of scrolling, taking substances, playing video games, eating junk food. You have the short-term feeling of reward, but then later on you feel grudgy, you feel tired, you feel weak, and you feel guilt. You should know better. That's what we preach here. We are not against enjoyment, but get your enjoyment from fulfilling activities, so that these real wholesome activities brings you fulfillment rather than short instant pleasure and stimulation. When you do more of these long-term effect activities, that is things that brings you long-term rewards, when you do more and more of it, you see that you feel more fulfilled even in the short term, and you don't seek instant gratification. Instant gratification feels a little bit stressful because there's no reward. It's just instant reward, and then you feel bad later. Then you are now aligned to doing things that brings meaningful rewards, and you don't even want to do this short-term constant stimulation anymore. You want to do things that will bring you long-term rewards and fulfillment. That is what we preach here. If you watch the video this far, then you are meant to be here. Welcome to the tribe.